Do you find yourself reading and even understanding passage information, but still end up getting questions wrong? Here's a strategy that will help you choose more correct answers. I'll show you what I mean by don't lose sight of what the question is asking on an actual MCAT question. This is a typically missed type of question with 4 different answer choices containing information that must be checked in the passage. And after going to the passage, you find that more than one of the answer choices is true, making it hard to choose the correct one. Pause the video and take a moment to preview the passage and answer the question on your own before I get into it. You can even click an answer in the interactive quiz. The question is asking for the primary innate function of macrophages. It seems simple enough, but after spending time processing answer choices and passage information, it's easy to lose sight of what it's asking. To be certain that you give the question what it's asking for, before going to the passage, go through each answer choice having in the back of your mind that at least one may not even be answering the question, and eliminate any of the such. And if you see any answer choices with words or ideas that are fundamentally false, eliminate those as well before going to the passage. And even if answers that don't actually answer the question or are fundamentally false aren't readily apparent, at least try eliminate before going to the passage. For example, answer choice A is fundamentally true and may or may not come up in the passage, but regardless, this answer about what they are and where they are is not actually answering the question about function of macrophages, so it must be eliminated before even going to the passage. This is especially important to eliminate in case the passage explicitly says the same thing, making you want to choose it. I know it's tempting to immediately go to the passage to see if answer choice B is true, especially since things you don't have to know for MCAT come up, like PAMPs and PRRs. But before going to the passage, pay attention to grammar in this answer. It's actually about microbes and what they do. And even though it mentions macrophages, it doesn't actually give a function of macrophages. So this must be eliminated before going to the passage. Answer choice C mentions functions of macrophages, but it also brings up things you don't have to know for MCAT, so you'll have to use a passage for this one. But before going to the passage, take a look at what answer choice D says. D also mentions a function of macrophages, but it also brings up things that you may know about, but also may want to check on in the passage. So now go to the passage, and only scan for and focus on words or ideas that come up in answer choices C and D. This will make it easier to minimize the amount of passage information you have to read, as well as reduce time spent. And it will help you better focus, understand, and of course, choose the correct answer. Start by scanning for words from answer choice C. PAMPs is easy to scan for. Read the entire PAMPs sentence for context. It says they, meaning macrophages, bind PAMPs, which is also what answer choice C says. Then, since the next sentence also mentions macrophages, keep reading to see that it says they engulf and degrade foreign particles through lysozyme activity, which is pretty much what answer choice C says, making it seem like the correct answer. But before choosing it, check the passage for words mentioned in answer choice D and read that entire sentence for context. It says macrophages prevent antigens on MHC molecules to helper T cells, which is pretty much also what answer choice D says. The second part of answer choice D is regarding the latter part of the passage sentence about helper T cells involved in the adaptive immune response. But revisit the question for a moment to remember that it is specifically asking for an innate function of macrophages. And fundamentally, innate means built-in function of macrophages, which is engulfing and degrading foreign particles, as stated in answer choice C, based on the previous passage information, making D off point and C the correct answer. To not lose sight of what the question's asking, heighten your awareness to answer choices that don't actually answer the question. The best way to do this is to always try eliminate answer choices with the idea that at least one of them may not even be answering the question, and always do this before going to the passage, so as to not let reading and processing of passage information cause you to lose sight of what the question is specifically asking for. And after reading and processing passage information, revisit the question as a quick reminder of what it's actually asking for to make sure it matches up with the answer you click. Simple as that.